Well, it's a sad day for Tekken fans. Tekken 8 has released their Season 2 update, and many players feel excited for the new moves, but at the same time confused with the design choices and disappointed with the end result that they got. Me, I'm more in the confused category. But in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the reasons why players feel disappointed and try to explain what exactly happened in this new patch. Alright, so the long and short of things is basically, this is the first major patch that we've gotten since the launch of the game a year ago. Balance has been withheld because basically the Tekken team said that they didn't want to disturb the tournaments that were going to happen pretty close to the launch of Tekken 8. That made sense, fair enough. Okay, so before the patch there was a Tekken Talk, and the Tekken Talk allowed the Tekken team to share what they were going to do in Season 2. They shared that Season 2 would be more defense focused and they would balance the heat mechanic in such a way that it wasn't as oppressive as it was in Season 1. They were planning to reduce how powerful it was and just how blatantly unfair it felt for some characters. Instead, getting the patch, we can see that they buffed the strong characters, they gave them more heat tools, and also it seems that they made heat more efficient with the tools that were available to these characters, meaning characters that had good heat got even better heat now. Outside of heat, they buffed certain characters by giving them more offensive tools, and we are not seeing where the defensive tools are in the overall game mechanics of Tekken 8. They also made some weird changes like adding chip damage to throw breaks for the person breaking the throws. This is going to be reversed. They have not reversed it yet, saying that they will remove it in May. It's quite far. And if you do play Tekken, and if you have tried to practice your throw breaks, you understand how hard it is to learn throw breaks. Now, it is strange that they would choose to punish people for correctly breaking throws. Now, keep in mind, this is a sub-skill in Tekken that you need to invest time into learning, but it seems they want to punish that. This brings into question what their motives are and their philosophies associated with improving the game, but that's a whole nother discussion. Moving on to the patch notes themselves. Overall, players were not happy with the hyper-aggressive nature of Tekken 8, and they thought that the Tekken team understood this, agreed with this, and would adhere to what they said in the Tekken Talk by improving the defense options. Now that the patch is out, we've experienced it, and Season 2 adds more offense. It does not give many new defensive options besides the improvement to sidestepping, but at the same time they added moves that tracked a bit better, and it seems like they added moves with more homing abilities. So this basically counteracts the sidestepping updates. Moving on to the characters, most characters were buffed. Even the ones that were performing extremely well like Nina and Jin, they were given new tools to be more oppressive in heat, meaning their heat was buffed. Additional, they got new moves. So overall, all characters got moved up. Some got more nerfs than others, unfairly so, like apparently Lee, he's not in a good spot right now. I am not a Lee main, but many people are saying this character is gutted. It is rough playing with Lee. Now, to be fair, the overtuned properties of some moves were changed. So some moves that were heat engagers and armored moves, those were cut down to be either armor moves or just heat engagers, which I think is pretty good. It adds a bit of balance to the game. But once again, there were not many new defensive options, so the unbalanced nature of the game is still in full effect. Now, there's a lot more to the patch than what I'm telling you here. You can go and read the patch notes as you wish. I'll go ahead and add a link to them. I'll go ahead and add a link to the patch notes to the bottom of this video so that way you have access to it. But keep in mind, some of the changes in this game, only character specialists would be able to see how bad or good they are. That's how complex of a game this is, to be fair. Moving on to Steam. Let's look at what is happening on the Steam page. Now, even though the game has only been updated for, I believe, 24 hours at the point of making this video, the reviews for the game have dropped significantly in a very short period of time. And this is because players are not happy with the changes that were made to the game. Now, the reviews have downgraded to mostly negative for recent reviews and mixed for all reviews in Steam. It's going to keep dropping. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with the game after it gets review bombed. This is an ongoing thing. We just have to wait and see what exactly happens. But it is a steep drop in just a few days' time. It's not even 48 hours yet. As it goes for the community, many people online are not happy with the patch and the direction of Tekken 8. You can look online and see many people are hating on the game and complaining, especially on Reddit, Twitter, and even Steam. It's pretty weird, but even players that got buffs to their characters weren't happy with the overall patch because they can see where it's headed. It's headed in a hyper aggressive 50-50 guessing kind of game, and that isn't really what they signed up for. They seemingly would have preferred a more fair and balanced experience where heat was not as oppressive, they had more defensive options, and there was a bit of a dance, a bit of a counterplay to the game. That's gone now. Alternatively, there are some people who do indeed enjoy the patch. To be fair, I do want to share those people here. Like this dude. He's praising the game and saying how much fun he's having. But sadly, this is the internet. So someone actually went ahead and did some digging on this guy and they found his information online. They were able to, I believe, find the name of his PSN account and they did some searching and they saw that he didn't play the game for quite a while. The last time he played was in January. That's a long time. Now he is entitled to enjoy the game, but players who know the game in more depth are seeing big issues with the update. So that means something is off here and it needs to be assessed. All in all, players are not happy with the changes the Tekken team has added to Season 2. And the player base is unhappy with the practice of the Tekken team saying one thing and doing another, or going the complete opposite. These are the kinds of decisions that erode the trust of the community, and it also erodes the trust of the players, the consumers, in the Tekken team. In my opinion, and I'm just sharing my opinion here, I think that there's a big push to monetize Tekken, regardless of the past Tekken games. Despite the fact that the previous games were what made Tekken popular, specifically Tekken 7, I think they're going forward with their own game plan here. Now, I understand that many people are going to have their own opinions, their own viewpoints, but this will just be mine. I think they want to get new players in who will pay for things like season passes and DLC, so they're changing the game to attract those players. Even if those players don't stay, they still want to get them in. Now, they may also understand that veterans are players that are going to stay regardless of what changes they make because they like Tekken. And in a system like this, it's structured in a way where at some point you're going to pay for something, be it a skin or a new character. They also understand that these people will complain, but you can ignore them for the most part. Like even on Twitter, you can block people. It's not that difficult. Additionally, this leads into the idea that the people making the business decisions may never actually see the complaints of the players and they may not even care. Additionally, the people making decisions, they're not game developers or designers, they're business folk. So they only care about making a profit. Whatever we're seeing now, the team planned it months, if not a year in advance at least. They knew what they were doing and they had time to assess it to make changes. These people, I don't think they can be trusted, and they have misled the player base multiple times. So at this point, they have proven that you can't take them at their word. The people that we constantly see on the Tekken Talks may not have as much control anymore than we once thought in the development and update of the game. But instead, they're there as figureheads to kind of quell what kind of outrage that may occur, right? They're there to help soften the blow of the changes that are intended for the future of the game. This also gives the true decision makers more leeway to hang back and do what they need to do without any negative repercussions. This is why we're seeing one thing being said and another thing being implemented in the game that do not reflect what was said to us. Now, as I said before, Tekken 7 is the game that put Tekken on the map, and the kind of game that players want from Tekken 8 is specifically Tekken 7, but with upgrades. This new dev team may not have been a part of the Tekken 7 creation or iteration process. They may not know how to build on Tekken 7, or they weren't even there. Additionally, I'm thinking maybe the devs that were involved in Tekken 7 are no longer there, or they don't have any more say. So whatever it is they want to implement, they're not allowed to. And this moves up to leadership, right? You have a leadership team that's making decisions, and it's not necessarily what the players want or even what the developers want, but it's what someone wants. And that someone, they want to make more money. That's the way I'm looking at it. This is why we're seeing them try to copy what's being done in other games, because those games are profitable. So they're simply copying what was done before. This kind of mindset to me is very similar to what high level managers would choose to do when they're brought on to make changes to a business, to a movie, TV show, to anything, right? These people are trying to make changes for profitability, and they have not been a part of the history of the product. So instead, they're seeing it through their own eyes of making this thing as profitable as possible, as quickly as possible. This is just me sharing what I think at the end of the day. I have no inner vision into the meetings and plans of this team, but I understand project planning and business decision making enough to understand where they want to go, and their choices reflect that clearly. But then again, this is just my opinion.